Hello everyone, my name is Gary Venice. I'm the principal broker here at ERA Blue Key Properties in Spring City, and I just wanted to welcome you to my East Tennessee real estate blog. For those of you who have been here before, you know that we do these blogs a couple of times a week. We focus on different areas. This week we're talking about sellers and how sellers can prepare their home for selling, and the process of getting pictures and video, and also setting up for the home reviews by buyers. So and as I've said before many times, I'm a big fan of checklists. So again, we're using a checklist format of things that would make sense to be doing. I want to start with something that you probably heard 100 times, and that's remove the clutter. I can't stress that too much, and that's why I made it the #1 item. If you have stacks of newspaper or magazines around, you need to get rid of those. Look at each room from a buyer's perspective, and extra furniture, if it's possible, should be taken out. If it's possible, reduce the amount of clothing that's in closets to give the closets a large feel, so that people can visualize that. And also, don't forget the garage. The garage can become sort of a catch-all place. You want it as neat and as clean as you can get that as well. So don't pass up on that. Second item has to do with light. The next couple of items actually have to do with light. But look at your windows, wash the windows, wash the screens. If it's fall or winter time of the year, you might even want to consider removing the screens altogether and maximizing the amount of light that the windows will bring in. But make sure you get handprints off the glass, and if you have pets, nose prints that invariably end up on the lower part of the glass as well. So you want to make sure the windows are as clean as you can get them, and the screens as well, or remove the screens if that's possible. Continuing on with that theme, on the inside of the house, the interior needs to be exceptionally clean. When a buyer is walking through the house, the fact that the floors are waxed and the furniture is polished and the windows look good, and the interior is in great shape. The kitchen especially, and the bathrooms, make sure the countertops are clean, and get rid of as many of in the bathroom, as many of the personal items as you can. So that sends a really strong message to a buyer when they're walking through. Things like polishing the doorknobs and the street numbers on the outside of the house. Those are all little things, but when asked, they've had an impact from buyers. So have a look at that. Try and get rid of all the smells in the house. Now, you live there every day, and it's easy to become complacent with the general aroma of the house, so to speak. So get the carpets clean the drapes. If you have pets, get rid of as much of that pet odor as you can. Some places talk about putting potpourri or scented candles out. A real simple task is to get some cinnamon and water, mix it together and put it on the stove, and run that at a very low, let that simmer. It puts an amazing smell through the house, and will help considerably. We talked just a minute ago about light in the room, and you want to carry that on with the light fixtures. You will put the maximum size wattage that the fixture will handle, and the maximum number that the fixture will handle so that you can really get light in the room. If you have any that are burned out, replace them. This is especially true in closets. We tend to let those go But you want to, in addition to having packed up some of the summer clothes or winter clothes and put them in storage to sort of reduce the amount of clothing that you have in the closet, you also want to, when the light goes on, have it bright and show the roominess of the closet. Don't disregard minor repairs, things like dripping sinks or cracked caulk or torn screen. All of these things kind of add up as a buyer's walking through the house, and just gives it that not well maintained kind of look. So again, it's one of those things where you want to take a walk around and just stand in the middle of every room and let your eyes go 360 degrees and look at the things that may be out of place, that will need some minor repair. Also, don't forget the outside. Again, things like loose paint should be addressed. Don't minimize the fact that if you have a driveway and the driveway's cracked, especially if it's blacktop, go ahead and get those cracks sealed or filled in, and then seal the driveway. That's a great DIY project. It's easy to do, and it'll make a big impact on the entranceway as well. Also, continuing on the outside, make sure the yard's in tip-top shape. This time of year it's a little hard to keep up with the falling leaves, but get them raked as much as you can. Make sure that the grass is trimmed up. Put new mulch down, trim bushes, edging sidewalks and driveways are important. If you have fencing, make sure it's in as good a shape as it can be. You really want to go for curb appeal. One of the things you may want to consider is to get a pot with some bright flowers and put that near the entrance door. Sort of welcomes everybody in. In the living spaces, you might want to look around and see if it requires just that splash of color that needs to be added. Maybe a bright vase or a bright covered Afghan that's laying over a couch can have that just draw the buyer in and give them that homey feel to the room. So that's something you might want to consider. Also, with interior plants, the camera loves plants. It loves the color green. So you might want to consider putting some plants in. A flowering plant near a window sort of helps brighten up that space. One of the other things you may want to consider, especially in the kitchen, if you have a window over a sink and there is space, maybe a small herb garden with some herbs that'll give off a pleasant smell, like rosemary, which when you run your hand off gets a great smell as you run your hand over it, and that may be worthwhile. You might also want to sort of set the scene of the house. Things like putting the place settings on the dining room table or kitchen table, complete with centerpiece and place settings. You might want to take pictures that are not personalized and have them replace some of your personal family pictures with some generic ones, again with as much perhaps color as you can. If you've got heavy curtains, you may want to consider replacing them with shears to let more light in, or showcase the curtains by having them pulled back at the edge of the windows, but still letting a lot of light in. When it comes to fireplaces, one of the things you may want to consider is obviously if it's a wood-burning fireplace, have the logs stacked up so people get the feel for a wood-burning fire. On On the hearth, you may all, make sure the tools are available and that they're clean, and make it as welcoming as possible. If it's a gas fireplace, you might want to take a look at the logs, and if there's any soot that may have accumulated, is to vacuum those off or clean those off, and the manufacturer can probably help you with how best to do that. Either contact the manufacturer or look in your owner's manual. But you'll want to get it as clean as possible when you do that. Talking about the bathrooms again, you really want to give the impression that the bathroom is sort of an oasis, kind of a spa effect. I've always found that when you walk into a bathroom and there are rolled up white towels or hanging white towels that are crisp and clean countertops with a minimum of items on it, a sparkling shower enclosure or a shower curtain, spotlessly clean, gives that spa kind of environment. Make sure there's maybe some scented candles or some other things to give off sort of that warm, cozy kind of feel that welcomes you in again and portrays it as an oasis. Pets, if you're like me and you have pets, you've got maybe some limited options where you can keep them during the showing. If you can't remove them from the property, maybe with a neighbor or a friend, you may want to relegate them to one room and let your agent know or that that's where they're going to be. So the agents that's showing the property is aware of that, and then there's no surprises when that comes. Another important factor, and this is really a safety factor, make sure that if you have any valuables, jewelry, guns, or prescription drugs, if the opportunity presents itself, remove them from the home. If not, then they need to be secured and locked up, and your agent needs to be aware of the fact that that they are in a locked cabinet. While your house will be shown with an agent present, it is very difficult, especially when there's more than two people that are going through the tour. It's very difficult for the agent to keep track of everybody all the time. One of the things we preach here is with our sellers, is to make sure that they take those valuables and in best case is to remove them. Safety deposit boxes are not that expensive, and really those things should really be pulled out of the house for the time being. It's hard to do that with prescription medication, but you'll want to make sure that it's locked up, and the same is true of the guns or weapons of any kind. It might be worthwhile investing in a gun safe, and then all of those things can be put away and locked up, and then removing any temptation that somebody might have. Final bit of information is to if you're going to be if the home is going to be shown at times when you'd normally be there, make arrangements to go ahead and leave the home. Let the agent do their work. It's very difficult sometimes, and it can be awkward when people are coming through and the seller is there. And while on the one hand, it's good information if it's a serious buyer, and the back and forth that goes on about specific things can be a good thing. I have found that generally a conversation like that is best left to later on in the process, when either the buyer has made an offer or is seriously going to make an offer and wants to meet at the house one more time. So it's, my opinion would be, or my advice would be, is that the seller should go ahead and leave the home and let the agent do their job in terms of showcasing your home to the prospective buyer. So that's going to end it for this section. As I've said before, you can go to the blog, which is gvenice@wordpress.com, and there's a lot of great information on there, whether you're a home buyer or seller. There's great maintenance tips. There's information about outdoor projects and indoor projects, and so there's a lot of good information whether you're buying a home or selling a home that I hope you'll find helpful. We're going to continue on this week. Next few days we'll be putting out one on getting the home camera ready and what the lens sees in terms of the house and the impact that has on marketing your property. So we'll hope you come back for that. Again, we appreciate you taking the time to view this. Hope you found it helpful. If you have any comments, you can email me at gary@etwaterfront.com, and I'm always happy to hear what folks have to say about what they've seen here. Again, we appreciate you taking the time. Have a great day.